내가 준 신발을 신고 그녀와 길을 걷고 아무렇지 않게
Oh yeah, now I'm feeling alive.
21, GD and Top, IU, Hyuna, Lee Hai, Seonyoung, Chungyonghwa of CN Blue, Chungeunji of A-Pink. Now, why all this idol talk, you may ask? They all have something in common. Any ideas, anyone? Now, we all know they're K-pop musicians, of course, but try again. There's another thing they all have in common. All these songs playing in the background, they were all created by the same person. So who could it be to receive this many collaboration calls from all these artists?
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 한국에서 음악하고 있는 선우정아입니다.
Yes, our artist of the day is sunwoojunga. It is our honor to introduce this massive hidden gem of a musician in Korea to all of our listeners around the world. And while we're at it, we're going to do our best that we can, of course. And in case anyone's wondering who I am, please allow me to introduce myself. I'm none other than today's special narrator, today's sunwoojunga episode of Beyond K-pop. KBS World's very own, Brian Ju. Yes, I said it like that, KBS World's very own, so that way they hired me again. Now let's get back to business. Beyond K-pop, introducing you to a whole new side of K-pop. Ready to dive in? Well then, let's go. Welcome to KBS World Radio Special, Beyond K-pop, dedicated to all those who await new music. Our second artist is sunwoojunga. In the contemporary Korean mainstream music industry, the major market has a very large stake. So, there's a clear boundary that divides those who are mainstream artists and those who aren't. And right on that dividing line is where sunwoojunga stands. To those who see her, she appears to hop back and forth on either side of this boundary line in a very clever way. The mainstream music critic Kang Il-kwon explains that this ability stems from none other than her undeniable talent. Her songs have a certain magnetism that captivates and captures the public's attention despite the unfamiliar vibes her music contains.
일단 뭐 노래를 잘하는 거는 기본이고요. 여기서 노래를 잘한다는 거는
First of all, it's a given that she's an amazing vocalist. When I say amazing, I don't just mean she can easily hit those high notes or that her vibrato is outstanding. Not only does she have a unique tone compared to others, but she's also very talented at creating non-linear melodies. When listening to her music, you'd expect her songs to flow in a familiar direction. But she then very subtly and carefully changes it up, creating a twist in her melodies.
부분들을 교묘하게 뒤트는데 그것이 기존에 평범하게 어떻게 보면 진행되어 오던 멜로디를 완전히 반전시키는 굉장히 절묘하게 반전시키는 지점들이 있어요.
It's a non-linear melody. Mr. Kang, that sounds a bit too complex to understand, don't you think? All right, everyone. I think we should take a listen and get a feel of this first. Here's a live performance for our Beyond K-pop listeners right here in the KBS studio in Yeouido, Seoul. This is sunwoojunga with Classic.
난 어디든 있지 새로움이 있는 모든 곳에 난 모든 걸 마시지 나를 통해 시간이 흐르니 화려한 트렌드 컬러 뜨거운 빈백 시끄럽게 휘몰아쳐도
Wow. What a fine way of self-expression. Now, she doesn't boast in any way, but she does send us the clear message. So, let's take a listen.
하나뿐 깊이 감히 건들지 못했어. I'm classic. 난 꺾여도 향기를 남기는 꽃. I'm classic, yeah. I'm classic. 자, 내게 말해봐. 너는 지금 뭘 좋아하는지. 날 내게서 찾아봐. 너의 취향이 변할 때 말야. 빠르게 쏟아지는 소리.
Wow, right? How marvelous. This is just my assumption, but 선우정아 must have had studied music for quite a long time. Right, producer? Yeah, she's nodding her head. I'm right. I just got that vibe right away.
너도 알다시피 I'm classic. 오르지 못할 곳. I'm classic. 누가 감히 건들지 못했어. I'm classic. 난 꺾여도 향기를 남기는 꽃. I'm classic, yeah. I'm classic. 손편지, 기타, 어쿠스틱, passive. 유선 마이크, spotlight. My diva, Whitney Houston. 지나버린 게 아니야. 앞으로도 있는 거야. 영원히. All of your things go through me. 오르지 못할 거람. 클래식 누가 감히 건들지 못했어. I'm classic, classic, yeah. I'm classic, yeah. I'm classic.
When she was about 4 years old, 선우정아 held her mother's hands and went out to begin her piano lessons. In that moment when her little delicate fingers began to move freely on the keyboard, her heart became completely filled with music.
피아노를 치면서
I sang and played the piano at the same time. I was told I used to sing alone really loudly. My mother told me she used to think, is she going to be okay doing that without any friends?
친구도 없이 혼자서 저렇게 괜찮은 걸까? 막 이런 생각 많이 하셨다고 그러더라고요.
Now, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say 선우정아's school days began and ended with music. The only other point is that the genres of music she enjoyed have varied quite a bit over time. Now, this is perhaps where 선우정아's genre-destructive character originates from. She says when she hit puberty, she came across a new type of music by coincidence while studying classical piano music.
희한하게 이제 반항의
Strangely enough, the type of music I liked went through a shift as I entered a rebellious stage as a teenager. I was filled with disobedience, and that was expressed through hard rock. That was when our country's rock scene just started to bloom and festivals revived. Hip-hop, hardcore bands, indie musicians, they were hot at the time when I was in high school. I naturally fell in love with them and told myself I wanted to be in a band too. So I started a club at my school.
그래서 이제 저도 밴드를 해야겠다. 나도 해야겠다. 그래서 그 학교에다가 이제 그 서클을 창단을 했죠.
Even 선우정아, the confident and driven, had insecurities too.
강한 노래 할 때 컴플렉스였어요.
I felt insecure singing powerful songs. My voice was too delicate. I wanted to, but I just couldn't.
어떻게 하면 이렇게 하고 싶은데 그걸 못 해가지고.
But things always tend to evolve. The girl who immersed herself in hard rock soon fell in love with jazz as soon as she entered college.
그래서 이제 대학 전공을 보컬 전공으로 하고
I was a vocal major back in college, and one of my professors was a jazz vocalist. What? Jazz? Like Fly Me to the Moon? That's all I knew about jazz, so it felt more alluring. And just like how I fell effortlessly into rock, I did the same with jazz, knowing nothing about it, but I dove in because it looked fun. It eventually ended up being a foundation for me and an opportunity to find my way out of being lost.
그렇게 시작을 했는데 이제 그게 저의 또 기반이 되기도 하고 헤맸던 그 길을 좀 찾는 데 도움이 되기도 했던 네, 그런 계기가 됐죠.
Her voice may not have been an exact match to hard rock, but it turned out to be a perfect one for jazz. Now, in her early 20s, she took a temporary leave from school and became an active jazz vocalist. In hindsight, sunwoojunga believes this is when she was able to hone her skills as a producer and vocalist.
다행히 재즈도 굉장히 광범위한 장르잖아요. 많은 걸 다루고
Fortunately, jazz is such a broad genre. It covers a multitude of things, while it is also the base of many other genres. So after studying its history, I began using jazz to compose, and thanks to that, I found a way to express my thoughts and lyrics. While I'm more calm and controlled when it comes to singing, I'm able to challenge and free myself when it comes to writing songs. Those two musical elements coexist.
그래서 그거 덕분에 내 생각과 내 가사를 표현할 수 있게 된 결을 찾은 거죠. 곡을 쓸 때는 점점 더 단해지고 더 자유로워지고 그렇게 됐던 것 같아요. 그래서 그 두 가지가 그때 혼재돼 있었어요.
선우정아라는 아티스트가 R&B 소울이라는 장르를 굉장히 많은 자양분.
sunwoojunga is considered an R&B and soul artist for the most part, but she actually works with a variety of genres out there: jazz, traditional pop, and at times rock as well. When it comes to producing, she's also very open to incorporating and mixing hip-hop elements, thereby releasing her own type of music. The depth of her versatility is incredible.
구현하는 게 아니고 그 안에서 퓨전을 시킴으로써 본인만의 음악을 또 발표를 하는 거. 그래서 이제 유연성 부분에서 굉장히 좀 뛰어난 부분이라고 볼 수가 있죠.
비 온다.
Some say that sunwoojunga has a musical tenacity but does not act like a noble scholar. In other words, she has a very distinctive style when creating music, but she knows how to do so within the boundaries where the public can accept and enjoy. And perhaps her musical value started to develop when YG Entertainment, one of Korea's top entertainment labels, sent a collaboration offer to sunwoojunga.
이게 이것도 참 말하자면 별게 없는데
It's nothing fancy, just good networking, I suppose. A friend of a friend happened to be a producer at YG, who was very active and prolific at the time. They've seen me perform at indie clubs a few times, and soon we became closer. We talked about collaborating together and how it would be fun. Nothing was deliberately planned, but rather one thing flowed to another very naturally, like water.
같이 해보자 재밌겠다. 진짜 정말 뭐가 이렇게 막 어떤 오피셜한 어떤 그런 그림이나 그런 역사가 아니라 무르르듯 자연스럽게 좋다 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 해서 이렇게 된?
Make it bounce, 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 bounce. 네 어깨에서 묻은 립스틱들 나는 절대로 용서 못해.
그래서 이제 정식 의뢰를 받은 건 이제 I Don't Care 레게 믹스라는
So the very first official collaboration with the company was a reggae version of 2NE1's I Don't Care. At the time, I used to combine popular K-pop tracks with jazz in my own style and perform them at clubs.
그런 거를 클럽 그런 무대에서 많이 하고 있었어요.
술에 취해 전화 걸어. 지금은 새벽 5시 반. 넌 또
찢어진 가슴에 난 이제 어떻게 살아 찢어진 가슴
그때 이제 손담비 언니 토요일 밤에를 제가
And when the founder and ex-CEO of YG, Mr. Yang, heard the jazz version of 손담비's 토요일 밤에, Saturday Night, which I rearranged, he wanted me to remake I Don't Care. And that was the first of many to come afterward.
그게 좀 첫 정식 의뢰였고 그래서 그 뒤로 한동안 어떤 작업을 같이 하게 된 거죠.
As an applied music major, she said she was very much into music that is academic and abstract. She believed pop or mainstream music cannot be considered real music, but only the dense and complex. But that prejudice collapsed all at once when she began her work with a major music label.
음악을 더 넓게 접근하게 됐던
It provided an opportunity for me to approach music more broadly, and it certainly helped me break down all my prejudices. I feel that the time I'd worked at YG boosted my creative autonomy.
여러모로 자유주제에서 포인트를 스스로 만들어내는 그게 사실 그러니까 굉장히 크리에이티브한 그런 능력을 향상시켜준 것 같은 그 느낌이 들어요.
sunwoojunga's power went up by 10 points. Songs that have been born through her fingers. We all need to take a listen, of course, don't you think? Composed by Teddy and sunwoojunga, sung by GD and Top. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, KPOP. Oh yeah, oh yeah, GD. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. 사랑은 bowling 내 말 한마디면 넘어가. 귀신에 홀린 듯 널 보면 내가 넘어가. 뒤내긴 싫지만 이미 you rock my world. 내 맘에 걸린 대답은 항상 oh yes girl. 한마디 샬교를 가까이 널 절대 실망시키지 않아 girl I promise. 우리는 닮은 남들과는 다른 soul. 지루한 세상을 등내지고 let's rock and roll.
오늘처럼 별이 빛나는 밤에 행운의 예감이 우릴 부르네. 아름다운 소리로 질러줘 like this, this, this. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, now I'm feeling alive.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, 제발 날 멈추지 마. Oh 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 nah nah nah.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah. 스타일부터 스마일까지 모든 게 다 good. 점점 서로에게 빠져드는 우리들. 또 비워지는 나의 cup. 네 향기로 fill it up. Oh 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 yeah. 너와 내 볼자는 kitchen 막 타오르는 느낌. 풍선껌처럼 부푼 맘 I'm just celebrating. I like it baby. You come be my lady.
오늘처럼 별이 빛나는 밤에 행운의 예감이 우릴 부르네. 아름다운 소리로 질러줘 like this, this, this. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, now I'm feeling alive.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, 제발 날 멈추지 마. Oh 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 nah nah nah.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
oh
yeah
yeah.
yeah. Put your hands in the air, put your hands in the air, say yeah. Put your hands in the air, put your hands in the air, say yeah. 오늘처럼 별이 빛나는 밤에 행운의 예감이 우릴 부르네. 아름다운 소리로 질러줘 like this, like this, like this.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, now I'm feeling alive.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, 제발 날 멈추지 마. Oh 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 nah nah nah.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
oh
yeah 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 yeah. You make me wanna sing yeah all day every day. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Now, if you were to choose one album that brought sunwoojunga to where she is today, it would be It's Okay, Dear. Now, not only was she selected as a Musician of the Year at the 11th Korean Music Awards with the release, she also won the Best Pop Record, taking home 2 big awards that night. Now, the thing is, sunwoojunga released her first album 7 years prior to that, which failed to receive major recognition. But starting with her second album, the critics began to go wild for her. Why, you may ask? Well, sunwoojunga cites her own crooked perspective of seeing the world, prominent in her second album, as the reason behind all of it.
그때 그것도 날 선 것도 아니었던 것 같아요. 저도 그 당시에 좀
Looking back, it wasn't even that edgy. I had considered myself at the time a bit rebellious, but now that I look back, it's rather cute, a bit cynical. Back then, however, I thought of myself as defiant to the extent of doing something like putting up an ambiguous caption such as, "My brain is as bitter as a lemon," next to my Messenger profile, but I wanted to resolve it in a pleasant way. In other words, I didn't want to be hostile to the listeners.
그거를 기분 좋게 풀고 싶었어요. 그러니까 기분 나쁘게 하고 싶진 않았어요. 듣는 사람들이
A melody as elegant as a bird resting on a tree branch topped by lyrics brutally sharp and honest. It gives a strange catharsis to the listener. Some of you may have noticed already that 선우정아's lyrics play an indispensable role in her music.
선우정아 같은 경우는 보편적인 주제를 다루든 아니면 지극히 개인.
In the case of sunwoojunga, whether she's writing about a universal topic or a very personal one, the vocabulary she chooses and the way she tells a story are refreshing. For example, she may start with a personal story, but soon it expands into one we can all agree on. She's very different from other artists in that way.
그것이 어떤 보편적인 주제로 확장이 된다든지 어떤 이런 부분에서도 기존의 아티스트들과 좀 더 다른 차별화되는 지점들이 있었고요.
I thought if I dressed fancy like them, I would be able to fly high and above, the lavish coat I've coveted for so long, but it doesn't suit me. Now, these are some lines from 선우정아's 뱁새. Now, this is a common saying in South Korea that goes, a crowtit, also known as a little puffy bird, that tries to walk like the stork ends up breaking his legs. It means when an incompetent person tries to mimic those who are much above them, he or she is bound to get hurt. In a way, aren't we all just tiny little puffy birds these days, wishing to be big, marvelous storks? We all want as much as what others have, and try doing what others do. But once we do end up reaching that point, it doesn't feel that wholesome or genuine. The emptiness we experience in that very moment. Now, this song is the pure embodiment of that feeling. To sing about a universal sentiment in such a straightforward and clear language, that's the power 선우정아 possesses. Wouldn't you agree? Now, this song indeed has been chosen by 선우정아 herself as a song of her life.
뱁새도 저의 어떤 특징이 많이 담겨 있다고 느껴요.
I feel that 뱁새 embodies a particular unique side of me, and I like that it's a song that translates my inner crowtit in an adorable way. I enjoy creating songs that are witty like that.
또 달라질 거예요, 내년에는. 네.
Dedicated to all the little puffy birds in the world, we present you the live performance of the song right here in the KBS studio. We hope you all can feel the air and the atmosphere that's emanating in the studio.
새 옷을 차려입고 거울 앞에 섰는데 어색하기가 짝이 없구나. 그토록 탐을 냈던 값비싼 외투인데 이건 내게 어울리지가 않아. yeah. 이건 내게 어울리지가 않아. 나도 쟤처럼 멋들어지게 차려입으면 훨훨 날아갈 줄 알았어. 점점 같은 옷들로만 가득한 나의 인생을 보며 쓴 웃음만 이걸 다 갖다 버릴 수도 없고 해서 입고 나왔는데 쥐구멍 찾아 숨고 싶구나. 그들에겐 꼭 맞는 어여쁜 외투인데 나한테만 어울리지가 않아. yeah. 나만 엄청 어울리지가 않아. 나도 쟤처럼 멋들어지게 차려입으면 훨훨 날아갈 줄 알았어. 점점 같은 옷들로만 가득한 나의 인생을 보면서 져가는 생각들 내게도 날이 올까 오 나라 나라 나도 좀 날아보자 나도 새다 나도 좀 날아보자 나도 새다 나도 좀 날아보자 나도 새다 같이 좀 날아가자 넌 너무 빨라 나도 쟤처럼 넓은 둥지에 태어난다면 쟤처럼 비싼 깃털이 남아돈다면 쟤처럼 힘센 날개를 달아본다면 훨훨 날아갈 줄 알았어 그러나 나는 새 옷을 차려입고 거울 앞에 섰는데 이건 내게 어울리지가 않아 이건 내게 어울리지가 않아 이건 내게 어울리지가 않아
Flexible yet powerful, calm and soft-spoken, yet it's a voice that clearly defines emotional ups and downs. As if we're falling in love with someone unexpected, the more we listen to her songs, the more we become magically drawn to them. To put it simply, she bewitches you. Now in 2019, she once again released an album that firmly solidified her world of music. It's her third studio album called Serenade, which consists of 16 love songs. The title track of the album is one I particularly really fell in love with. It's a song called 도망가자, Run With Me. Now, ready to accept the comforting hands of sunwoojunga? Let's feel the moment of that silent impact when her first line, 도망가자, fills up the studio.
가자 어디든 가야 할 것만 같아 넌 금방이라도 올 것 같아 괜찮아 우리 가자 걱정은 잠시 내려놓고 대신 가볍게 짐을 챙기자 실컷 웃고 다시 돌아오자 거기서는 우리 아무 생각 말자 너랑 있을게 이렇게 손 내밀면 내가 잡을게 있을까 두려울 게 어디를 간다 해도 우린 서로를 꼭 붙잡고 있으니 너라서 나는 충분해 나를 봐 눈 맞춰줄래 너의 얼굴 위에 빛이 스며들 때까지 가보자 지금 나랑 도망가자 멀리 안 가도 괜찮을 거야 너와 함께라면 난 다 좋아 너의 맘이 변할 수 있는 곳 그게 어디든지 yeah. 미쳐도 돼 내가 안아줄게 괜찮아 좀 느려도 천천히 걸어도 나만은 너랑 갈 거야 어디든 당연해 가자 손잡고 사랑해 눈 맞춰줄래 너의 얼굴 위에 빛이 스며들 때까지 가보자 지금 나랑 도망가자
Now, just like in this song, if someone were to tell me one day to run away together and have the courage to come back again, I feel like I could take on any obstacle put in my way. Now, the artist sunwoojunga is familiar yet mysterious musician, one you think you may understand but not enough, because at times she offers you a warm consolation just like this. However, her steely gaze remains constant. Her song "쌤쌤" clearly demonstrates this.
그걸 왜 갖고 싶은데 갖고 뭘 할 건데 지금 내 간절함 과연 영원할까 조금 배가 불러도
With this song, her objective was to criticize this competitive society while at the same time criticize herself as well for having become just another typical adult who plays a role in it.
아주 단순한 욕망 질보다 세고 싶음 누군가의 부러움 잊으면 안 되고 모자라는 것
똥 묻은 개가 겨 묻은 개 나무란다. 그게 약간 제 모습 보면서 느껴졌고요.
A pot calling the kettle black. I saw that in myself. When we are younger, we all say to ourselves, I won't ever grow up to be a greedy adult. Selfish. But you see, I've turned into one. So there is this sadness and sorrow in becoming such an adult. Just like them, I want to earn more money, live in a bigger house, buy luxury goods. I'm no different than them. I asked, why did I laugh at them? And then I get embarrassed by my past self. So the song was written not out of self-deprecation, but out of self-reflection.
뭐 나도 다를 게 없네. 왜 그들을 비웃었지? 그러니까 그 비웃은 나도 부끄럽고 그래서 자아 성찰을 하면서 쓰게 된 네.
That's actually right. You feel a sense of shame when you realize you become the person you had once harshly criticized and differentiated yourself from. That's when you feel a bit remorseful as well. I hear there's an interesting story behind this song as well.
이 노래를 롯데타워 앞에서 부를 일이 있었어요. 너무 재밌더라고요.
Once there was a time when I sang it in front of the Lotte World Tower. That was very intriguing. I've indulged myself many times by now in that department store, which symbolizes the epitome of extravagance. And above it lives so-and-so who lives above so-and-so. It was intriguing to sing this song as I stared at the high-rise. I'm saying I'm just like everyone else. This song was created out of that gap I felt within me and out of shamelessness.
다른 그런 모습의 괴리감도 느끼고 좀 너 되게 뻔뻔하다 스스로 이 생각이 들어서 만들게 된 노래예요.
The only future I've dreamed of is to live above another, down below is someone else's dream. These lines are from her song 쌤쌤, and it creates a strange illusion as if we're looking at ourselves in the mirror. So let's keep listening.
그걸 왜 갖고 싶은데 갖고 뭘 할 건데 지금 내 간절함 과연 영원할까 조금 배가 불러도 다 귀찮아 하잖아 그런 나의 두 손에 무기를 쥐어준다면 아주 단순한 욕망 질보다 세고 싶음 누군가의 부러움 잊으면 안 되고 모자라는 것보단 남기는 게 나아 자격 없는 내 손에 쥐어진 종 똑같은 사지 똑같은 pride 똑같은 멸시 똑같은 blind I have no proof that I am better than them 내가 봐라 그 미래는 겨우 누군가의 위증이야 이야 아래엔 다른 이의 dream 다 귀찮아하잖아 그런 나의 뱃속을 계속 물려준다면 아주 당연한 소망 원수든 아니든 복수 내가 당해온 것들 갚아줘야지 지난 날의 상처는 또 다른 상처로 나만 아플 수는 없으니까 똑같은 사지 똑같은 pride 똑같은 멸시 똑같은 blind I have no proof that I am better than them 내가 봐라 그 미래는 겨우 누군가의 위증이야 이야 아래엔 다른 이의 dream feel the same feel ashamed I can't blame anyone but where are you looking and feel the same feel ashamed but I cannot stop being greedy yeah 그걸 왜 갖고 싶은데 yeah 똑같은 사지 똑같은 pride 똑같은 멸시 똑같은 blind I have no proof that I am better than them 그 미래는 겨우 누군가의 위증이야 아래엔 다른 이의 You and me, same.
Genre destructive, music giant, bohemian on the music sheet. All these nicknames she's been given contain praise and admiration towards the musical world she's created. And even among these many nicknames, what's the one that stands out the most? Musician's musician, or Moo for short. Now, many artists, including K-pop idols, have always wanted to work with her. So, what could be the reason for that?
선우정아라는 아티스트가 내는 어떤 만들어내는 멜로디
I assume it's the way sunwoojunga creates her melodies, the overall sounds, and her distinctive way of producing that attracts other artists to her. Simply put, she's just really cool. In the Korean popular music scene, it's very typical that the more famous a musician gets, the less creative autonomy they get to keep. But sunwoojunga, on the other hand, despite having public popularity in the major market, is still able to tell her stories however she wants to. Her albums receive a lot of love, especially. That's what provokes many creators to wish to collaborate with her at least once, I feel.
특히 앨범으로 또 인정을 받는 대중과 마니아 양쪽에서 인정을 받는 그런 아티스트이기 때문에 창작자라면 한 번쯤 작업을 해보고 싶어 하지 않을까 싶은 생각은 있습니다. 네.
Just as so, sunwoojunga has worked with many musicians so far, including IU, 이하이, Lena Park, 세정, 이승기, 서인영, Primary, Toy, Epitone Project, 이선희, 이문세, P-Type, and the list goes on and on. Artists of all genres and ages. Very diverse, right? A-Pink's vocal Chung Eun-ji in particular has said that she's the biggest fan of sunwoojunga. Now, here's what she says about that.
일단은 정아 언니를 찾아갔을 때
First of all, I believe every artist connected with her has felt comfort and consolation from her lyrics at one point or another. I'm sure they come to her wishing they could do the same for their listeners too. That was the case for me anyway, and I like to believe it's the same for others. Many artists are drawn to her mysterious energy and thus want to collaborate with her, and there's nothing more satisfying than experiencing the synergy from working with her. That's why so many people look to her, I think. One time, I sent her an idea asking her thoughts on it, and when she sent me her feedback, I was once again totally impressed. She's very good at leveling herself to the other artist while still staying true to her own identity.
그 사람이 가지고 있는 언니의 아이덴티티를 버리지 않으면서 그 사람이 가지고 있는 아이덴티티를 잘 맞춰가시는 것 같아요.
In that case, which part of working with sunwoojunga left you with the biggest impression, Eunji?
자신감. 내가 이걸 했을 때에 있어서
Confidence. I envy her level of self-assurance when she works on something. Not to ever say she doesn't have flexibility. She's very versatile among the many musical genres she possesses, and she's very adept at riding the waves. That is all the while she protects her core values. That's what I find highly respectable of her. So I keep seeking out for her music. Besides all of that, I just simply love her voice.
절대 안 깨뜨리세요. 그래서 그게 너무 멋있더라고요. 그래서 계속 언니를 노래를 찾아 듣게 되고 좋기도 하고 그냥 언니 목소리를 워낙 좋아해요.
sunwoojunga, you know I'm doing my very best at introducing you to our listeners, right? I want everyone, the world, to know about you. Now, this is what we call fate. So, why don't we work on a collaboration someday? Fingers crossed, fly to the sky, and sunwoojunga. Let's make it happen. Now, of course, I hope it goes down. Got my fingers crossed. I'll be praying about that. All right. Well, anyways, we've got more information. I think it's time to take a listen to their collaboration, of course, as well. This is written by Chung Eun-ji and sunwoojunga, composed and arranged by sunwoojunga, and the song is called Who.
성냥 같은 말들 후 불면 꺼지는 봄꽃 같은 말들 금방 시들어버릴 Everything's gonna be alright 시간이 해결해준다고 위로 안 되는 위로 그대의 맘을 지나치고 할 수 있는 말은 많아 그 중에 소용 있는 게 있을까 널 위한 너만을 위한 마음 그냥 울어버리자 왈칵 쏟아내 힘내지 않아도 괜찮아 아프다고 말해주라 억지로 웃지
Now, it's always a surprise to learn that this year marks 선우정아's 15th year since she's debuted, so congratulations. Now, she tells us she still feels both shy and curious about why people like her so much, and it is her wish to always remain as a fun artist to the public.
아, 아직도 재미있구나. 그 말이 진짜 행복할 것 같아요.
Oh, I hope people know that I'm still fun. That would make me very happy. It would keep me going. It would be a confirmation that I'm doing it right. I try my best to provide comfort to the listeners, but like I've mentioned, even during that process, I want to keep the right balance. Oh, she's still fun. Even when time has long passed, I'd like to keep people excited and have them perceive me as fun.
재밌네. 오래 했음에도 기대하게 만들고 재밌네. 그 말 듣고 싶어요.
Musicality and mass appeal. She's got the best of both worlds. Well, we might as well hear what 선우정아 thinks of her own music.
아메바. 네, 아메바 좋아해요. 그러니까 약간 괴물 같다는
An amoeba. I like amoeba. What I mean is, I really like its monster-like appearance and that it has no form. An amoeba can shape into anything it wishes.
형태가 없잖아요, 아메바는. 한데 그래서 뭐도 될 수 있잖아요.
Her cleverness shines through the music she creates through pleasant tension and complexity, never taking the obvious route. Now, she never disappoints, does she? That's a fact.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷. 너는 날 보내, 나도 널 보내. 불꽃이 튀네. 하늘은 파래. 바람이 부네. 다시 입을 맞추네. 주네. 봄처녀제 마이크를 메고 씁니다. 아예 얘도 없애고 할까요? 다음 끝까지 안 쓰니까 괜찮아요.
She describes music as the hottest thing in her life. She jumps back and forth between what is mainstream and what isn't, as if she's jumping rope. Now we're excited for that unfamiliar yet charming tension she'll bring into the K-pop industry. We really hope you will continue to push forward, 선우정아.
네, 일하는 거 좋아합니다.
I like to work very much.
Well, that's very awesome because honestly, it's the total opposite because I want to be on vacation.
나도 몰라 어디로 가는지 매서운 바람 아직도 부네. 뭐 여태까지 해왔던 대로 끝없는 부지런한 창작 활동을 하면서
Just like how I've always done, I'm going to keep doing an endless number of creative activities, and I really desperately hope to perform a lot. In any case, I will continuously work. And as you know, our world is rapidly changing, especially when it comes to media. My plan is to be always open-minded to those changes, to improve, and to never fear such changes.
틀리 바뀌잖아요. 그런 거에 대해서도 계속 열려있고 업그레이드 되고 그런 변화를 두려워하지 않는 그것이 저의 계획입니다. 가슴 속에 활짝 핀 꽃.
Well then, there you have it, guys. I've made my decision. I plan on listening to 선우정아 for quite a bit. Now, beyond K-pop, introducing you to a whole new side of K-pop, such music that provides a strange, unfamiliar, but pleasurable experience. Now, how did you guys think about 선우정아? And I want to thank everybody, all the listeners, for spending time with me and everybody here at KBS World. And right now, our very last, but certainly not least, Beyond K-pop episode. Now,
Who could it be? Now we promise it's someone or group that will far exceed your expectations. I'll give you a little hint, okay? It's a voice that walks through memories. Now, is that a little too easy? Then you don't want to miss out. Of course, once again, you guys, I'm your boy, Brian Ju, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode. Goodbye for now.
나도 몰라